welcome to the episode of Husbands Watching Housewives. I'm Scott.
And I'm Jeff.
And we just watched an episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Sure did.
Ken, are you sure we did? Like, I did. Not much happened this episode.
I mean, we could really call this episode, like, Your Mama and Them.
I think that's the name of this episode. We're calling this Your Mama and Them.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't, a lot of the opinions I don't like when they come from the housewife. Just to hear their mother rambling on about, like, oh, you're a good person and you should let this happen to you. Well, no, of course. What else are you going to say?
It's a little trite. It's a little trite. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have much to talk about with the show.
Do we want to talk about our trip or do we want to talk about the show first?
I think we could let's summarize the show.
Okay.
Shamea and Porsha don't really get anywhere. The end.
Well, let's back it up. Where do we begin? I don't even remember.
Yeah, exactly right.
Cynthia went out with Shamea.
Mm-hmm.
And Shamea was still very hurt from the Pampered Porsha party.
Mm-hmm.
And, she was upset. She, talked to her mom. Then we get into, before we even get to this whole episode, Porsha had an issue with Shamea and threw it down with the whole black, box on Instagram because she saw the episode beforehand and thought that Shamea was talking poorly about her mother. Now, watching this episode, I'm like, Shamea said her mom thought that Porsha's mom's mom was...
You can't even explain it.
Shamea thought that she was better friends with Porsha's mom than she was. And then the producer tried to get her to give more info and she refused. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was anything,
It wasn't like Diane did this, whatever, because Porsha said on Instagram, what your mom did to mine was egregious.
Yes. And
egregious.
I don't feel like that was all that...
egregious.
All that egregious, exactly.
She found that word and she...
won't let go of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that was like kind of whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of whatever.
No. That whole moment, because I thought it was like a huge thing for her to like go on Instagram and be like, I'm so pissed off. And then you see it and it's nothing.
Maybe we should talk about our weekend. It might be a little more exciting than what was going on in Atlanta. I mean, we saw Beyonce.
Oh my. Okay. So we're starting over.
Or I think we're just pivoting.
Oh, no. We're starting over, starting with our trip and then going back to Atlanta.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
You're not going to go back to Atlanta.
I mean, if you bring it back to Atlanta, I'll give you a
I will find a way to bring it back to Atlanta.
So, our trip.
So we went to Chicago. The crown jewel of the trip was going to see Beyonce. But we did other things. We went to a Cubs game at Wrigley Field, which is really cool. It was a great day. We went to Boys Town, had a great dinner at Wild, which is an Oscar Wilde themed restaurant. And we went on the architecture boat tour of Chicago, which was really cool. Incredibly hot.
Yeah, the weather was...
Very hot week.
The weather was supposed to be like in the 60s when we planned this trip. And 60s in Chicago and in spring, it'll be delightful. It went up to 90 degrees and...
90 plus.
Yeah, 90 plus.
It was so hot the entire time.
Yeah. And
so hot.
Yeah, it was very hot in a way that we're not used to because we're, we don't deal with humidity the way a lot of the country does.
No.
So we were very sticky people.
Yes.
It was not as enjoyable as we would.
So we're doing all these activities, like jumping on the train, train's hot, just walking around, super hot. We had a nice hotel, one of the views wasn't so great.
Yeah.
But, we saw the river and everything and it was just, the river. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just the ambiance was great. It was my first time in Chicago. Scott hadn't been there since 2005.
Yeah, 2006.
So it was just being there together and seeing all the sights. It was great. So, but again, the thing we planned this all around was going to see Beyonce. So cut to Thursday night and the show doors open at 5. Show starts at 7. We had a great Italian meal at this restaurant,
which we got recommended by the concierge at the hotel. We very rarely talk to the concierge.
Yeah.
Who needs to talk to someone?
Yeah.
Especially when all the concierge does is Google restaurants. And you're like, well, I can Google restaurants. But he knew to Google a specific restaurant, and he recommended this to us. And it was actually really good. I'm glad we went and did that.
Yeah, so that was like honey pizza, like some...
Yeah, we had like a honey burrata pizza. You kept scraping the burrata off.
It was a lot of burrata. Yeah. I gotta tell you.
No such thing as too much burrata.
So it was a good there were 5, like pretty leisurely. We're like, we'll get there plenty of time. We get there, and first of all, the merch lines were ridiculous. The fact that
I thought of the restaurant.
That's very nice.
I liked that at the restaurant there were other people clearly on their way to.
Oh yes, there are a lot of. Well, we saw a lot of people like going to because everyone was in Western gear.
Yeah,
Kent's Cowboy Carter, so much Western gear, like the looks alone were just like worth the price of admission. Just so many creative and not so creative, but lots of like creative, booties out, chaps for days. Like it was just like people were just wearing their Cowboy Carter best.
Yes, we weren't. However, Jeff had a Cowboy Carter shirt, but I was. We were just wearing normal
cute shirt. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
But just normal clothes.
You could have gotten cowboy hats.
We aren't cowboy hat people though. I don't care what concert we're at.
Yeah, it would have been it would also been too hot.
Oh well, yeah, it's true. Like
and boots.
People always get the little tiny cowboy hats for Madonna tours and stuff, and I would just be like, I'm not going to wear a little tiny cowboy hat.
I think you're thinking of that one Madonna album. Wasn't like it was the music.
Either way,
cowboy.
There was a lot of guys in the Castro wearing little cowboy hats after that album came out.
That was like 2000.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. Period. There you go. Period. Dot. I'm not a cowboy hat person. That's just me.
Would have been too warm.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get there, like we've got plenty of time. There's a huge line. We're like, oh God, is this the line to get in? No, it's the line for merch.
Yeah.
This will be a recurring theme throughout the night. So many merch lines that didn't move.
Yes.
For very expensive merch that we didn't want to buy.
Yeah.
So trying to like bypass these lines was an ordeal. So we get into the venue. It's at Soldier Field where they have the Chicago Bears games.
Mm-hmm.
And we see on the TVs throughout the Soldier Field that there's going to be a delay because of weather, because of a tornado warning. The earliest they will let us in to our seats, because you can get to the venue but not to your seats, was going to be like 9 o'clock.
Yes.
That was the estimate.
And
we're like, it's 6:30.
Yeah. And so
what are we going to do? We're not going to go back to the hotel and come back.
Well, you couldn't.
We could have. We couldn't leave.
No, they wouldn't
let
you back in once they scanned you in. So we're basically stuck there at Soldier Field, milling about. And the problem is they wouldn't let anyone who had field tickets, and that was us, onto the field. So people who had like regular, mezzanine seats or upper level, they could go to their seats. But basically all the common areas of the stadium were just packed full of people who couldn't go to their seats. And so just making your way around to go to the bathroom to get a drink, it was just shoulder to shoulder, like nonstop sea of people.
They ran out of water.
Yeah.
Like it was just so...
bottled
people.
water. The stadium still had water. The toilets.
Right. Yeah, sorry. Yes.
But no, just so many people just crammed into a space. Like if you've seen it online or seen people's videos of it on TikTok, it does not do it justice.
Yes.
It
was just like hot. It was, and then
the thunder and lightning started.
Which is like,
and
you're
the rain.
You're looking up and you're like, is that lightning? Yes, that was lightning. And then there's thunder. And then the rain starts. And then the rain goes sideways because it's Chicago and it's windy.
Yeah.
And people are freaking out because like rain is coming at them.
Yeah.
And nowhere during this time do we think that there was actually going to be a tornado and that we were in danger. We were we're in danger of this show being canceled.
Yeah, like we flew all the way from California to see this show. And then we're like, they're going to cancel it. And then what? Then what do we do?
Yeah, it's like we get a refund, but we never see Beyonce, which should be horrible.
Yeah.
So it was just like hours of this. At one point we were sitting on stairs, like when we were like walking around, getting rained on, people were shrieking.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, it was a lot.
And that's the funny part, is that as much as dramatic as it all was, when you see people's recounting of it, like people are saying, I went to see Beyonce Cowboy Carter night 1 Chicago, and they're like, and the show was amazing. They don't even mention the ordeal before the show.
The ordeal.
But I do like that for a lot of people that the show was amazing. Like that the show was so great that it overshadowed the 2.5 hours of wandering around waiting.
It was more than 2.5 hours.
Yes.
The show started at 10:15 on the dot, basically.
Yeah.
Well, before that, we the line just to get into our seats and like, show your bracelet. Like, so annoying, sir. I've shown my bracelet. I belong here. I can show you my ticket. Like,
yeah,
it was just, they were
like there's already waiting. You were like already trying to get in there, and then they had to go through another ordeal just to get to your seats.
And then we get to the field and we're like, oh shit. I mean, I knew these seats were good, but like, whoa,
yeah,
these seats were good.
Yeah, like it was nice. I mean, we kept saying to each other, like, when Beyonce came out and she was like up on the edge of the stage, like, that's Beyonce over there.
And we were like dead center to be like, oh, well, that's Beyonce.
Yeah, like she was still, a small person off in the distance. Like it wasn't like we were looking up her nose or anything.
Right, we weren't that
But
close.
it was still enough to see with our own eyes that that's Beyonce.
Yes, with the naked eye, you could see Beyonce. But you kept, your eye kept wandering to the screens because they're, so big.
They did a really good job of getting the monitors and everything. And
very much so.
And giving people in the upper seats, a really good view of what was going on.
And, every detail, was just... It was done so well, like the message, the visuals, the costumes, the vocals, the dancing. She puts on such an incredible show, and it was worth the wait. I said this on Instagram.
Absolutely was.
It was definitely worth the wait. And then it's not it started at 10:15, ended at 1. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes of just pure Beyonce.
I mean, there were a lot of costume changes where she played lots of video.
There's a lot of videos.
And some of the videos could get a little heavy-handed.
It was basically, because she didn't put out any videos for this album or the album before, the videos were basically at the show.
Right.
Because normally you would see a music video with, all these various songs. Because she played feels like almost every song from Cowboy Carter. But... so that's where you got your
visuals and everything.
But it was so funny because everyone after a while it's like, oh, this is when we sit down.
Yeah, now we can sit down because we've been standing.
Here's the thing: we've been standing for hours milling about this stadium. We've been standing watching Beyonce. You got a little tired. Yeah, we're in our 40s,
and we weren't wearing cowboy boots.
No,
all the people who were wearing cowboy boots, they've been standing there. They probably don't wear cowboy boots ever.
Didn't break them in, I'm sure.
So they were just probably their feet were probably in the worst pain. So
right, but
we would be locked out without the cowboy boots.
We did, but we did we danced. You did a little shimmy.
That's all I can do is shimmy.
The girls in front of us were losing their minds. Everyone around us was losing their minds. It's a very enthusiastic Bayhive.
Yeah. No, it's a good show. I'm really glad that we went.
Yes.
The one thing that was not as much fun is getting home.
So here's the thing. There's no way to get home except for walk.
No, well, so apparently also Chicago has a very thriving pedicab community. Thriving. However, no one mentions it. And when you Google how to get around Chicago, pedicabs don't come up once. At least that I saw. Unless you have to Google specifically pedicabs. But I don't know. I just think you see a pedicab, I think somehow it's some sort of scam. Especially because when you see one or two, you're like, okay. But then we got to some point during our walk where we saw probably 50 of them.
Yeah.
And they're all blaring music and they're all decked out with
blaring Beyonce.
Yeah. I was just like, okay. Even at that point, I was like, maybe we could take a pedicab back. But I didn't know how to arrange that.
You just stopped the pedicab.
You could have done it. You could have been like, hey, buddy, how much for a pedicab back to our hotel?
So instead, we walked the 2 miles home.
And
that was a lot because it was very hot still.
Yeah, at 1:30 in the morning.
I mean, we didn't get back home
till 2:15.
Yeah.
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 We didn't speak a word either the entire
We didn't speak a word. I was a little hot.
Yeah. A little hot, hungry, tired, all those things.
I was hungry, actually.
Oh, really?
I was just more tired.
I was very thirsty. I wanted some more.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
So I'm thirsty now and have some of your water.
Sure. So it was an ordeal before the concert. It was an ordeal after the concert, but the concert itself was great.
Yes. And it's a memory for sure. Never have I ever been in a stadium stuck in a tornado. Like,
It was just a severe thunderstorm. It wasn't a tornado.
I mean, potato.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell tornado when I tell this story to other people.
Well, you're going to tell people about the sandstorm the next day?
Well, I think we already told. Yeah, apparently, we're eating dinner the next day on Friday. So we'd already gone to a Cubs game, went back to the hotel. We went out to dinner in Boys Town or East Lakeview, whatever you want to call it. And while we're there, we all get like the Amber Alert noise on our phone, and it ends up being like a severe dust storm warning, which apparently is like the first Chicago has had in like 30 or 40 years.
The thing is, when we were walking from the train, it was pretty dusty and it was pretty windy, but we didn't think it was a severe one. But apparently it was.
Also, it was one of those things where like we're not from places that have severe weather, or like we're not used to severe weather. So I was like, oh, this is probably just normal for Chicago. Turns out it's like a once in a generation situation going
Once in a
on.
generation, like a Slayer.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when we left the place, it wasn't dusty. Like, I felt like there was more like dust coming at us, like walking up to the restaurant
Yeah.
than afterwards. So maybe like it died down.
All I know is Midwestern weather, unpredictable. So
Apparently.
I just thought it was part of the scenery.
I'm just glad it didn't rain. We didn't bring an umbrella.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
See, so already, I mean, more excitement than what went on this Atlanta episode.
I can bring it back because this is what, the whole Cowboy Carter theme they had in Tennessee and Nashville for Portia's birthday party.
Yeah, but
Not as great as this, obviously.
also that episode of our podcast is like our least listened to episode in the last
Oh.
year. I think there's like this day like 13 listeners to that episode.
Yikes.
It might be that we named it poorly, but still.
Well, your mom and them coming at you next tomorrow.
So whose moms told us what was going on? All of them? Was it everyone's mom?
No, well, basically, we heard about Shamea and Portia's mom's drama that we don't really.
Did we get Kelly's mom?
We did not.
We got Kelly being a mom teaching her kid how to
Right,
drive.
how to drive, which was like, that was cute.
Then we got-
And talking about her new restaurant opening.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
They showed her like
Visiting it with her
visiting
nana.
with her nana. Yeah, so yeah, I knew someone
The
was.
titular nana.
Yes, and it didn't look like they got very far. Like
No.
when they showed it to us the first, it looked like it was the exact same day.
We've talked about this, how like every time a housewife opens a business, it's always a rush to open the business, and it's always half-assed.
Yeah, and it's just
Because it's for the show.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. So we got
But
Drew and her mom.
the big thing was
Oh.
Drew and her mom.
Was it?
Well, because she had multiple scenes, and Drew cried, and look,
you know my feelings on Drew, and I'm still in the same one.
I don't understand the whole like he was trying to get her lawyer recused. I don't understand why he locked her out. How that was able to. How there wasn't any like repercussions from that. Like, did they change the locks back? Does she have a code now?
Is that why there's no door in the basement?
There should be a door in the basement. I don't understand the whole thing. And then her mom comes in and says, your children are acting weird now. And Drew's like, oh my God, and starts crying. And
Well, yeah, on top of it, her mom comes in and just tells her, like, this isn't what's good for you and it's not what's good for your kids. And it's like, well, no shit. And it's like, of course, her mom's going to say that. Like, what else is she going to say? Like, oh, no, this is working great. Like, don't need it. I just don't ever need it.
no, her mom's a pastor. So,
Oh, is that just power positivity and, like, prayer?
well, she kind of gave them a little couples therapy like 2 seasons ago.
I don't remember that.
They met with her to try to like work out their issues, but
I'm sure she was like, Ralph, you're right. Not my daughter.
probably.
Yeah.
I don't recall. But yeah, the drama with the divorce is just like, whatever, let it be over. It's been 2 years. Like, it's very
Let it
expensive.
and the storyline be over and tell me about something other than Ralph. That's what I'd like to hear about.
Well, Shamea and Porsha sat down. That was the
Oh,
other
that was the other thing. Yeah. We kind of covered that already.
They almost got somewhere. I think it was like, let's, agree to hear each other out and be there for each other and talk to each other and not to other people
Right.
so that they can like pull us apart.
But I don't believe it for a minute. Like,
I don't believe it.
Portia just
Here's
seems to
the
be
thing.
going along to get along.
Here's the thing.
Getting along to go along?
No, you said it right the
Okay.
first time. I love Porsha, but again, I might have said this last week. I can't remember. I can believe Shamea more, and I feel like Shamea is a better friend and Portia's very dismissive of the whole thing. Like, yes, Shamea came in hot tonight to the sit down, but Porsha also was kind of like, when's this going to be over?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, again, Porsha saw this being one way and it's not going her way, and she's really irritated about it. And Shamea's like, well, deal with it. Like, my feelings are hurt and I've had to like push them down because I'm a good friend to you and I don't want you to be upset. I don't want to add something more to your plate. But after a while, you can't push anything down.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting how they just went gung-ho on why can't we be friends like we are off camera, on camera.
I'm surprised she brought that up.
And the fact
Porsha was too.
The fact that she said, like, you always say that, you know, they don't pay you to be that friend or to be that person. And it's like as if to say that, you know, Porsha isn't being genuine necessarily on the show, or this isn't the real Porsha that we're seeing, you know?
I think we're never really seeing the complete real everything of these women.
I know.
Any franchise.
I agree, but I think there's probably some people that, like, I think that's what Shamea was kind of getting at, is like, now that she's got a full-time Peach and she gets her side of the story heard, how come she's giving more than Porsha gives? That's what it sounded like it was kind of.
I think, you know, when Shamea was a friend, she was totally tied to Porsha, and there wasn't going to be a fight. It was going to be like, I'm here to support you as your friend. But now I think Porsha saw this coming, that bringing on a good friend with so much history and there's been stuff from the past about their, like, some friction, she knew this was going to happen. Similar to like Dennis and Drew. She saw what was going to happen and she knew she couldn't just go on there and be like, it's best friend time. They had to like fight it out. And I don't think she wants that because she's going through so much with Simon. And I get that part of things, but I also think like that's not real. And you obviously have like issues that you've just been like shoving under the rug.
Right.
And now you're tripping over them.
Right.
You know? So you have to talk it out, but she doesn't want to do that. And so that's why she's like, when is this going to be over, basically, in her mind with the heavy sighs. And Shamea's like, I got a lot of stuff to say. I got a lot of hurt feelings. So
I'm distracted by the cat nuzzling up to your dirty sock. Like, she was just down there just all like, what is this? Not your socks, like, filthy, gross.
Filthy.
It's just a worn sock. But that cat was, like, going at it.
Like there's a catnip in it.
Yeah, it was really kooky.
So yeah, I think that's what it is. But again, I side more Shamea on this.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Also, because like,
I love Porsha, but like I also see
the editors were doing us any favors though for liking Porsha. Like they were definitely emphasizing her sighing, her shuffling the silverware.
That was so distracting.
And like every little thing that she could do to like make it, like, to not talk about it.
Right.
This is like, they accentuated it. So to a degree, yeah, we're supposed to notice how dismissive Porsha was, but you know, is she always that way, you think?
Not always, but I mean, she's like that with Drew, but Drew deserves it though.
That's true. Very true.
I think, you know, you can be real. You can like, you know, I'm not looking for them to fight, but I think you need to like be real about the friction in your relationship in order to still have a relationship.
Yeah.
Because right now they're not really talking.
Yeah. And everything Shamea was saying made so much more sense. And like, she was just trying to like, everything resonated. Like, it didn't seem like she was trying too hard to like push a narrative, and that Porsha was just kind of, okay. You got it. Thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, like check.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not going to be that easy.
Well, especially because it's, again, Portia's just saying it to get past it, and so that she doesn't have to talk about it. And clearly that doesn't go well.
But here's the thing too, you know, like if Porsha, like she knows the deal, so it's like, she feels, it really seems like she's running away from conflict and just trying to like do what she wants to do and control the narrative about things. And that's like not sitting down and like really working stuff out with Drew and now with Shamea and like kind of like glazing over stuff with Angela. It's like, that's not why we brought you back.
Yeah.
So
what didn't Angela and her mom sit down and talk?
Oh yeah.
Charles?
I understand what the fight was there, or not even the fight, what the issue was there. Aside from like that, I think the issue is more so with Angela's sister, who like can't even say her name.
Oh,
like did she send a cease and desist because like they blurred her picture and they bleeped out her name every time they said it.
Sounds like it then.
Yeah. So I don't really know what the issue is. I don't really care.
Exactly.
I care more than like Brit's family issues, but like I wasn't really focused on that.
Yeah. Who knew you just need to give a cat a sock? And she would have a fun time. Like, I had this cat for 5 years and I've never seen her go to town on a sock. It's crazy. What Kelly's family? What did they do? I mean, we should go through all the women.
No, it was the whole drivers.
That was it? Just the driving?
Well, opening up the new
restaurant and
like
wanting your daughter she needs a Civic, not a BMW.
Right. Basically wanting to like, provide for her family, and so this new restaurant is, going to help with that.
And then what did we get with Brit this episode?
Thankfully, not much.
Yeah, right?
They went to a friend's wedding.
Oh, that's why we didn't get a
She's
whole
like,
lot.
"What's dress? What's dress?"
Yeah, that's the only thing we really saw her.
But still, it's like, I feel like between this week and last week, we haven't seen a lot of her. But then we make up for it next week because I think she's hosting an event.
Yeah, well then, yeah, we'll get a lot of it.
And
I say we've had more Cynthia than we've had.
And I like
Brit.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Brit is not my favorite.
Are you ready for some Phaedra next week? Apparently, we all need her.
I mean, sure. I'm not like, I like Phaedra, but I don't really think that we did need her, but maybe.
Yeah, I think there's enough drama going on without her. And also,
or is there? Because you're just saying there's not much going on.
That's true. It's not much that I care about. So maybe Phaedra will help us focus and be like, okay, we like this drama. But I get the feeling Phaedra is just going to do like her traitor's personality and just be all like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Ekin-Su.
Yeah. She's just going to, not Ekin-Su.
Oh, Jesus.
And just do a lot of kind of reaction shots.
Yeah.
Or if she does try to like,
well, she brings up the Angela Charles thing.
Yeah, it just seems like whatever drama she brings up is going to be stuff she's been fed, and it's going to be very, very contrived. But
probably. They don't really do Angela and Charles. They're not doing them dirty, but they're not doing them like...
any favors.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always make them...
like when he's like, do you love her? And he's...
Well, it's like when they make it, a certain couple seem awkward all the time, and they play the little, whackety shmackety music over the top of their like interactions. They're kind of giving them the bad, the not the bad edit, but the...
Charles doesn't, and we've said this before, it doesn't seem like not that he hates it, but like he's just really not down for doing the show.
He seems
more so, like not as much as like Brit's husband is not down for doing the show, but like he's just kind of like, whatever.
At least he does it, though, and doesn't really seem to be complaining about it. He does the show. He's like, all right, I'm on camera. Like, it seems he seems more happy to do it than Todd from Salt Lake seemed to do it with Bronwyn.
Oh, Todd.
Was it, or Bill? What did
Heather call him?
Heather call him? Yeah.
Todd. I was like, Todd.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, that's a husband that just seems like, fine, I'll be on camera. Even, like, Brit's husband just like, all right, I'll do it. I don't really want to.
Yeah.
But like, Todd was just like, okay, I'm fine.
I'm here.
So, again, Charles kind of just being on camera like, okay, this is just me being me. I'd be wacky.
Right.
So, I like Charles, though.
I do too. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What
else?
There's nothing else. We're glad to be back from Chicago.
Yes.
The cats are fine, thanks to our friends who fed them while we were gone.
Yes, those were great of them.
And, yeah.
Great. Yeah.
It was very good of them, and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We don't need to go on any more vacations. I think the next vacation we got on...
I'm tired of flying. I'm really just tired of the rigmarole of flying. And just, and packing and like
Get in the airport at the ass crack of dawn. Ugh.
The threat of like, I don't know, you might not be able to like take this bag on board. It's so full. It's so full.
Yeah.
Lies.
It's so irritating.
Hey, want a chicken bag? No, lady, I don't want a chicken bag.
Oh, speaking of...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no one's listening at this point, but on our way to Chicago, we're, on a like 8:30 a.m. flight. So we get there at 6:30. We're finally on the plane like 7:25, 7:15. Yeah. We flew United. We don't normally fly United. So we're on a big 777 where there's 3 seats and 4 seats and 3 seats, and we put our suitcase in one of the overhead bins. Or we share a carry-on. That's how gracious we are. Jeff and I, we can each have our own carry-on. We share one roller bag.
We don't need that.
And so we're saving space so that other people can have bags up there, which is why it's infuriating when they tell us we have to check our bag.
We make sure to bring only what we need. Although we did bring a lot of options, but we managed to fit it all in the carry-on.
It's like we're not each even using our do overhead space.
Right.
We're sharing overhead space. So anyway, we put this in the bag, and it's one of those ones that like tilts down because it's one of the big planes. And I put Jeff travels with his CPAP because breathing is nice when you're and I put it on top of our suitcase, and we turn and we walk down the aisle. And we had to pick a bin that was over someone else's seats because ours was already closed. So we go back 2 rows to our seat, and while we're walking, the CPAP slides off the top of the our roller bag and lands on this old biddy who's sitting there in 36C or whatever. And it like hits her on the shoulder, but she just yells, "Ow!" And like we turn around,
like she'd been shot
or stabbed or something.
Yeah.
And so like we turn around and like just it takes a while to even like what the hell happened, and like, oh, that's our bag on her head, like what's going on? And we're like, oh, we're so sorry, and we get it, and we don't even put it back up there. We put it down by our feet next to us, and then we're sitting there minding our own business, and she calls.
She's so upset. She's so upset. She's looking around. Like, she looks so aghast when we're like, oh, sorry, that was our bag. And she's like,
we purposely like planned for it to fall on her.
Like we wanted to fall on her.
And
yes.
It was just, wow. So she calls across the center section to a flight attendant who's kind of coordinating the other side of the plane, but she calls across by calling him steward.
Steward. Like waving the hand, steward. And we're like, I'm sorry, are we back in 1945?
Yeah, she calls him over, and he comes around. She says, like, this bag fell on her, and he says, like, well, do you know?
See who did it?
Yeah. Did you see who did it? And, like, we, of course, pipe up, like, it was us. Like, it was our bag.
We're so sorry.
Yeah, we're very sorry. Like, it's slid off of the other bag in the bin, and we didn't mean for that to happen.
Yeah.
And then he goes and like he goes away, he comes back, and like I hear him saying like, oh no, ma'am, I don't file the complaint. Like, you have to like call this number and explain to them what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was just
we thought that like she was going to like throw some charges at us. Like,
yeah, like I thought for sure we're gonna get off the plane and have her be all like, I need your name and your address.
Yeah.
And I'd have to be like, no way, I'm not giving you my name.
No.
Unless, you get me a lawyer who tells me that's a cool thing to do, which I don't think they would.
And here's the thing, like, yes, I'm sure it hurt, but like the CPAP is not that heavy. It's not the actual, it's not like a huge carry-on. So she wasn't wounded or hurt.
I mean, even if she was, like,
I know she's old and brittle.
Hit her shoulder. Yeah, she's like probably in her like late 60s, early 70s, and
I'd say 70s.
Yeah, and she was just, again, it was the fact that she acted so like we did this to her, like we set out to do it. And I was like, it was an accident. I'm so sorry.
It was
and
so
we
funny.
were both very. I do wonder, did we ask her if she was okay though? Because I do remember.
No, we didn't.
I'm wondering if that was just the difference, because we were just like, oh my God, we're so sorry. Oh no, like.
Well, we gave an apology.
But
we both did.
I have to think that one of us said, oh my God, are you okay?
Maybe you might have, but I don't think I did.
Yeah, see, either way, I was then just appalled by, like, what did she hope was going to come out of it? And the only thing I could think of is that she just wanted something free from the airline, like you let this happen. Like,
because it's on their airline when it happened. It's not like a piece of the plane fell on her.
Right, exactly.
No.
That was so weird.
I think it's funny, like, you kept calling her an old biddy.
Well,
like,
there's no other explanation for it, because she just was like this, like, mousy, like, she reminded me of like Edith Bunker, basically.
No, Edith Bunker.
Edith Bunker was way more colorful, but I'm just saying, like, she reminded me of that age of a woman, but in this modern day. Like, how do you like a 60s housewife when it's 2025?
It wasn't Edith Bunker. It was like very much like the mother-in-law, like the guest star mother-in-law on a sitcom in the 70s. You know what I'm saying?
I could see some of that. I was also thinking,
like she was like Mother Jefferson.
I think she just had such an ugly personality, average steward, that in my head I just saw her as Mama from Throw Mama from the Train.
Oh.
That she just had this kind of like...
She kind of reminded me of like, was it Eileen Lockhart? Is that who I'm thinking of?
Who is that?
She did a lot of like...
Soaps?
No.
Oh, June Lockhart was on Lost in Space.
No. I think I'll have to Google it later, but like there's someone she reminded me of.
All I know
Anyways.
is, we'll hopefully never see that woman again in our lives.
We were so thankful she was on the flight back.
Oh, because then we would have had to really throw something at her. Been not nice. Just traveling is such a...
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Like, it's things that, like, you want to think that the destination justifies everything that it takes to get there, but sometimes you're just like, did we really go all this way just to eat at a different restaurant, like to see, some like architecture? Like we've never done an architecture tour of San Francisco, but yet we did one of Chicago. So
well, it was really cute though with the boat and everything.
Be on the river,
yes.
and
the history.
Chicago was great.
Yes,
and drinking by the river was great too. I ended up in one of my texts to my friends. I'm like, oh yeah, we had a couple beers down by the river, and they're like in a van. But no, Chicago has a river walk, like in a way that I think San Antonio wishes they had. But yeah, little just shops and everything along the river, and it was usually a place to drink and grab a bite, and it was really nice.
No, a lot of like just like great things to see, and just like walking around the city, and it was like it was just a fun time. Yeah. I'm
glad we went.
I am too.
And I'm glad we didn't just go to LA or something, because then we wouldn't have done half the stuff that we ended up doing.
Because originally, Beyonce wasn't coming up this way, so we're like, let's go someplace different to see her, since she won't be out in the Bay Area, and so we decided on Chicago, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah. So yeah, again, our life more exciting than the Real Housewives.
Our life is more exciting.
That's really what it comes down to. And I'm the smart one taking tomorrow off, but you're gonna work.
Well, I'm working from home, and I think it will be fine.
It's gonna be awful when I'm up here playing video games, ignoring your work's size and frustration. No, I'm kidding.
As you're sweltering up here.
Hey, I can bring the laptop downstairs.
You could.
I could. I very much could. So anyway, did we cover everything? I feel like there's so much story that we forgot about our trip, and then even stuff about the show. But like, it's been a long week.
I mean, no, I don't think we missed anything from the show in regards. I mean, we could.
This isn't. Yeah, we don't want to break down the Beyonce
experience.
Go see her. That's what you should.
Go see it. She flies above you on a big horseshoe.
Yeah, even if you get nosebleed seats, she still flies up near you. Even you could go, wow, that's Beyonce.
Twice on a horseshoe and in a car.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and the costume changes, and like she just looks just amazing. And like Beyonce looks like Beyonce in person. In person, I'm saying.
And then also on top of that, she doesn't screw around. She just does a medley of all her popular songs that aren't from Cowboy Carter.
She's like, and to the left. Okay, we've done that. Single ladies, now we've done that. Check. Yeah. As Porsha would say.
She just basically went through all the hits and like, okay, done in about 8 minutes. And then costume change.
Crazy in Love breakdown, got it.
Yeah. It was a good show, but then she mixed in a full length songs from other tours and stuff. So
yes,
like I feel like I'd rather, as I'm not a huge Beyonce fan to begin with, like I'm not a fan, but like I don't know details.
Yeah.
I'd rather have someone who is absolutely nuts over the Aliens tour?
Renaissance.
No, what's the one with wasn't there 2 different tours she was mixed in there?
No, there's Renaissance. You're thinking of Alien Superstar was like a song from Renaissance, and that guy was wearing an alien. So the guy who did not sit down during the sit down.
Why does every concert have someone who refuses to sit down?
We can't see past you. This is where sit down, watch the visuals moment. Okay, then Beyonce comes out, then we'll stand up all.
And there's always someone who's just dancing at songs like at speeds that the song is not the song.
Yeah.
Like, girl, the song is going super slow and you're over here just bopping.
Or how about the girl who's like, Beyonce, your best friend is here. I was like, it was cute the first time. 6 more times, it's not cute anymore, girl.
No, it's not.
Like, why are you discrediting Kelli?
On that note. I don't know if we can really add anything more to this. Do you want to keep talking about this, or do you want to talk about it next time?
Until next time.
Okay.